You're at dinner, friends are talking, someone is laughing, and suddenly, you feel yourself disappear. Not physically. You're still there, smiling, responding, nodding at the right moments, but something inside you has stepped back, like you're watching the whole thing through glass. And the strangest part? Nothing is wrong. No one hurt you, no one rejected you. You just feel empty, and you have no idea why. If you know that feeling, this video is going to explain exactly what's happening. Most people misunderstand loneliness. They think it's about not having enough people, more friends, more messages, more plans. But if that were true, loneliness would disappear the moment you're surrounded. And yet, millions of people feel the most alone in crowded rooms. Psychologists separate loneliness into two completely different things. The first is social loneliness, when you literally don't have people around. The second is far more subtle, emotional loneliness, when people are around, but no one actually knows you. That second type is quietly becoming one of the most widespread psychological experiences of modern life. Section 1. Your brain thinks you're in danger. Here's something most people have never been told. Your brain doesn't interpret loneliness as discomfort. It treats it as a survival threat. Neuroscientist John Cacioppo spent decades studying this, and his findings surprised even other scientists. When the brain detects social disconnection, it activates the same neural regions as physical pain. Not similar, the same. To your brain, being emotionally unseen and breaking a bone trigger overlapping alarm systems. Why? Because for most of human history, being cut off from your group meant one thing: you died. So, evolution built a powerful signal deep into the nervous system. If you lose connection, something is wrong. Fix it now. But here's the problem. That alarm system was built for a tribal world, not a modern one. Your brain cannot tell the difference between being abandoned in the wilderness and sitting at brunch with 5 people having surface-level conversation. The alarm fires either way. And the result is a strange, specific emotional state. Restless, uneasy, slightly hollow without a clear reason why. Section 2. The modern world makes this worse. And if the biology wasn't enough, the world we've built around ourselves makes it worse. Over the last 50 years, communities have quietly changed. The sociologist Robert Putnam tracked this shift across decades. People now know fewer neighbors, join fewer local groups, share fewer meals together. He called it the collapse of social capital, the invisible web of trust and belonging that once held communities together. Then social media arrived. It promised to connect everyone, but it introduced a trade-off no one fully saw coming. Instead of being known, we began performing ourselves. The photo, the caption, the carefully edited version of your life that reads well at a glance. But here is the neurological reality. Receiving a like does not activate the same brain circuits as feeling genuinely understood by another human being, not even close. MIT sociologist Sherry Turkle spent years documenting this shift. Her conclusion: we are becoming alone together, constantly connected, but increasingly unseen. But the deepest layer of this goes further than biology or technology. Psychologist Carl Rogers believed that real connection requires one condition above all others: authenticity. Two people can only truly connect when at least one of them is being real. And here's the quiet crisis that almost no one talks about. Most of us are almost never our real selves. At work, we perform competence. Online, we perform happiness. At family dinners, we perform being fine. And here's the specific moment most people recognize. Someone asks, "How are you?" And before you've even thought about it, you've already said, "Good, thanks." Even when you're not. After years of doing this, something quietly disappears. The authentic self underneath all those roles becomes harder and harder to locate. And when you can't find it, no one else can either. So even when people genuinely care about you, they're connecting with a version of you, not the real one. And real connection cannot form through a mask. Psychology doesn't solve this with productivity hacks. Connection isn't a habit, it's a risk. But research does point to 3 small shifts that change everything. First, say the real thing. Not the safe response, not the polished answer, the real one. Brené Brown spent 20 years studying human connection. Her conclusion was simple. Connection begins the moment someone chooses vulnerability over performance. Often it's just one sentence. "I've actually been struggling lately. Honestly, that scared me. I don't really know what I'm doing." That moment of honesty is where real connection starts. Second, give someone your full attention. Presence has become genuinely rare. Phones, notifications, constant distraction. But when someone feels fully heard, their nervous system relaxes and connection becomes possible. Third, stop running from your own silence. A lot of loneliness is actually disconnection from ourselves. We fill every quiet moment with content, music, podcasts, scrolling, anything to avoid sitting alone with our own thoughts. But the silence is where your real self lives. And until you reconnect with that, no relationship can fully replace it. Feeling lonely in a crowd does not mean something is wrong with you. It means your nervous system is working exactly as designed. It's detecting something real, not the absence of people, the real absence of real contact. And in a world that rewards performance, fills every silence before you can feel it, and calls that connection, real contact has quietly become something rare. Almost radical. But it starts somewhere very small. One honest sentence, one moment of not performing. One person finally seeing the version of you that isn't. Because the opposite of loneliness isn't being surrounded. It's being seen.